Hey guys, welcome back. More updates in the English voice actor space. So you may have seen my segment from the other day. Hopefully you saw that, because if you did, you're going to be more in the loop with this. But in that video, we read this statement from famous voice actress Jennifer Hale, where she apologized for losing her temper during a meeting. Now, I went on to explain in that video that I believe the meeting being referenced here is a recent meeting that SAG-AFTRA held regarding the video game strike. And so Allegra Clark then responded to Jennifer Hale with a series of tweets. We're not going to read Jennifer Hale's statement because we already did. We're not going to read this whole thread from Allegra Clark because, once again, we already did. If you missed that video, I'll link it in the description for you. However, we will take a look once again at the first 3 tweets that Allegra Clark made here, because it seems like what she said here is specifically upsetting some other voice actors. We'll take a look at the anger. And for those that don't know, Allegra Clark is the VA for Beto in Genshin Impact. Specifically bringing that up because obviously there's the ongoing video game strike, but also the recent collective work refusal going on against Hoyoverse. And I suppose I'm using recent a bit loosely, but yeah, you get my point. So Allegra Clark had said, "I'm not privy to anything that happens during negotiations, what the current language is or isn't, or anything along those lines. But I am genuinely scared that this strike will have done more damage to the industry than anyone could have foreseen, whether quote unquote AI wins or not. There's so much ugliness happening in the community. Mistrust, accusations, sabotage, and fractured friendships." Wow. Mistrust, accusations, sabotage, and fractured friendships. Sounds like a great community of VAs, doesn't it? Sabotaging each other, insulting each other. Great stuff. Wonderful job, guys. But at least Allegra Clark is calling that stuff out, or at the very least pointing it out, which is certainly more than we can say for a lot of other English voice actors. And speaking of what we can say, also keep in mind I already gave my full opinion on everything Allegra had to say here, as well as what Jennifer Hale had to say here in my prior video, so you're not going to get my full opinion in this one, as we're going to focus on the next part of what Allegra says before we hop over to Bluesky and take a look at the aforementioned VA anger that seems to be directed at Allegra. The stakes of the strike are understandably massive, given that they have to do with how our voices are used in the future, whether we consent to any of it or are paid. Those stakes mean that everyone is on edge and everyone is passionate. But my gosh, I don't recognize the industry compared to last year. This is a freaking nightmare, and I think it needs to end. Keep in mind that part about it needing to end as we hop over to Bluesky, where that takes us over to voice actress Shauna Brier. But first, who is Shauna Brier? According to BehindTheVoiceActors.com, Shauna Brier is trending, guys. She's trending at a whopping 817th this week. Round of applause for Shauna Brier. They go on to say, Shauna Brier is a voice actor known for voicing Wook Lamat and Tomari. Take a visual walk through their career and see 4 images of the characters they've voiced. And yeah, let's take a look here. So there's Wook Lamat, Tomo Ari, Wook Lamat again, and this guy. Okay, back over on Bluesky, Shauna Brier had this to say. "Hey, I'm gonna be real. To all the rich VAs saying, this strike needs to end, quote unquote, because your bottom line is starting to hurt, suck it up. Those of us at the bottom, who have a heck of a lot more to lose, are running Uber Eats, etc. to make it through this. The strike will end. The strike will end when we get our deal." Oh my gosh. 2,400 likes on Bluesky. This post resonating with a lot of Bluesky people. She continues, "I was actually going to break my Twitter exodus to post this there, where the rich voice actors who actually need to see this are still posting, but the character limit there is too short." I mean, like, well, first of all, that's really funny. Like, calm down. Holy smokes. But second of all, can't you argue that the voice actors who have like more jobs have more to lose? I don't know. I feel like that's not the best argument. Like, those of us at the bottom with 4 roles total in our whole lives have more to lose. It's like, bro, you haven't worked in like a year. Calm down. And this whole thing about those of us at the bottom who have a heck of a lot more to lose are running Uber Eats to make it through this. How is that a good point? If anything, that seems like it weakens your argument. You've worked 4 VA jobs according to like Behind the Voice Actors like ever. So clearly minimal work to begin with, and then on strike, so working even less, saying you're like running Uber Eats here and there to like get through it. That sounds like you could be doing a lot more. How is that supposed to make you look better? I don't get it. Like, is there a lack of self-awareness here with these people? Do they really think that's a good point? Like, gets 2,400 likes for saying that? Bro, come on, dude. Seriously? Look, man, when I was back working at the restaurant, I knew people who would come in to pick up takeout for jobs like Uber Eats, and they were running like 3 of those apps at the same time. They would run like Uber Eats, DoorDash, and this other one I forget the name of, like Postmates. I think that was it. But they were running like 3 of these apps at the same time. And then like myself, I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm better than anyone. This is just like what I was doing. For example, when I was first starting off on YouTube, I was still working at the restaurant back then, about 25 hours a week to 30 hours a week. On occasion, I would do Uber Eats, but I really didn't like it, so I tried to stay away from that if I could help it. As mentioned, I was still trying to get my YouTube channel to really take off, but I was making like a little bit of money from it. It was enough to help, help the budget. So I had like those 3 things mainly: restaurant work, Uber Eats, YouTube. And then on top of that, though, in my schedule, I was also still going to school and training BJJ as often as I could. So like, again, I feel like these VAs have like zero self-awareness, or they're exceptionally entitled, whatever the case may be, because like, yeah, wow, guys, we're even running Uber Eats to get through this. Okay, a lot of people also try and make money on the side through Uber Eats or whatever they can, except they also have a full-time job on top of it, or like multiple part-time jobs. Some of these people got multiple full-time jobs, and they got kids and whatever else. It just seems like these VAs are constantly making terrible points, and they never learn. Karina, for example, go back to her again. Many great examples we can use her for. Oh, I'm not like those other VAs who are working like Jacob, who are scabbing, those terrible people. I work because I've got autism and I'm disabled and I need the money more than they do. Ooh. And like Kaylee Mills similarly had said, like, oh, Jacob doesn't really need the money. Like, these people, man, their points are so bad and they make themselves look so terrible. But then they go on Bluesky and they get likes from other people who shockingly agree with them. But this is like a fringe of a fringe. Like, you might get 2,400 likes on a Bluesky post posting some crazy stuff like this, but you got to understand, to like everyone else, you look like you're, let me rephrase, you're making yourself look worse. And really what I'm saying is advice for these people. But they'll probably hate me for saying that, call me an alt-right chud, or whatever other buzzwords they can come up with that are absolutely meaningless and don't matter. You know how they are. And that actually takes me to the next part of this video. I was like actually forgetting about this. I probably wouldn't have ended up including this in this video, but this is such a perfect segue. You gotta see this freaking guy on Bluesky. You guys are gonna find this hilarious. This dude is crazy on Hinge. He's really mad at me, spoiler alert. Let's take a look. Hold up, got a little bit ahead of myself. One last thing to mention about Shauna Brier's post. While she doesn't directly call out Allegra Clark, her post was made on May 3rd, Allegra's was made on May 1st. And the whole thing where she's calling out people who say that the strike needs to end, it's very clearly implied to be about Allegra. Now on to this angry, crazy person on Bluesky. So there's a blog post here. I think when I first saw this, it wasn't a blog post. It was like a long thread about this person disagreeing with SAG-AFTRA, if I recall. And so this like weird guy on Bluesky starts getting all mad at the person for criticizing SAG-AFTRA. Starts saying stuff like, oh, so you're left-wing, while spouting right-wing hero hate propaganda? Project and gaslight. That's what you people love to do. You call Karina Trump. You people go through the MAGA playbook so well. Lie, harass, claim victory, repeat. What the brain rot, dude. Hero hate, right-wing propaganda. Yes, the blue-haired femboy who says that the government is corrupt and corporations are corrupt. And that, guess what, SAG-AFTRA is also corrupt. Well, that's clearly like a right-wing extremist. By the way, I still reject the femboy label. I'm just, making a point. And of course, we can presume the context here is the person they're arguing with was probably labeled right-wing for criticizing SAG-AFTRA, to which they most likely said they're left-wing, given the context we see here. And this person, once again, is like, oh, so you're left-wing while spouting right-wing hero hate propaganda? Look at this brain rot. He's also mad at the Genshin community overall. This is just like Pomeranian of Doom, where they tried to say that the whole, like, everyone against the SAG-AFTRA strike is alt-right. So, speaking of Pomeranian of Doom, freaking, of course, that person's in this conversation. Oh my gosh, without fail, bro, without fail. Anyways, what started all this? Holy smokes. So, another blocked post. Someone says, who started the harassment campaign? The striking VAs. Be for real, y'all are dumb as heck. And Pomeranian of Doom's like, I do not think that most of the Genshin community has any familiarity with anti-union propaganda. Historically, this form of propaganda succeeds precisely by disseminating a villainous caricature of unions and their supporters. Dude, there is no caricature needed when a lot of these union VAs literally act like villainous caricatures But unironically, like, that's what they're actually doing. Oh my gosh. And so the next person's like, ugh, I'm trying to stay away from this, but calling out SAG does not equal being anti-union or being impacted by anti-union propaganda. Also, you're looking at it as an American. There are other countries. Pomeranian of Doom's like, Genshin fans are not merely criticizing SAG-AFTRA. They are opposing unionization efforts, cheering on strike breaking, and demanding that Hoyoverse further engage in more strike breaking. This is anti-union sentiment. No, they are actually merely criticizing SAG-AFTRA. Hope this helps. Within a single minute, I can go on Twitter and find a comment advocating for VAs on Hoyoverse projects to be replaced. It is 5,000 likes. Yeah, a lot of them should be replaced. They apparently don't even want to do the job anyways. The ones that do want to do the job seem like they're trying to actually get back to work. The ones that are a part of the strike and want to do the job. Others have been doing the job this whole time. But let's see what this says. After learning more about the Hoyo strike, I actually have no issue with these recasts anymore. The voice actors are sabotaging themselves purely out of greed, selfishness, and stupidity. In fact, I hope the rest who are striking get replaced quickly too, so that this can be over. So this is supposed to be an example of what exactly, like, what they say is supposed to be an example of? Anti-union sentiment? Not really. It's more of a sentiment of replacing people who clearly don't like the job and don't want to work with people who want to work, need the work, and actually like the work. Continuing. And like the community that they're a part of too. Something a lot of these Genshin VAs have clearly come out and said they don't even like the Genshin community at all. Look at the stuff that Karina has said and or reposted. Same thing with Kaylee Mills, Valeria Rodriguez, and Shara Kirby, just to name a few really quick. Ava says, cool, where's the anti-union propaganda? I support unions the way they were intended. Still, I hope that Paimon will get recast ASAP. It's not connected to the fact they're striking. Oh wait, they don't, I forgot. But to the fact how much bad-mouthing they do. And here comes the person we saw earlier who's really mad at me, saying, quote unquote, I hope that Paimon will get recast ASAP, and you ask about anti-union propaganda. Wait, but according to Paimon, she's not even a part of SAG-AFTRA. Didn't she say she's not a part of them? Bro, these people don't even, like, they don't even understand what they're talking about. They literally make up arguments in their mind and get mad at that. And then the stuff that they think they're defending, they don't even fully understand either. Holy smokes. Ava says, are you that dense? Angry weird person Dawson says, wow, just right to the ableism. Ableism? What? That was quick. How is this person real, bro? Billion-dollar company supporters don't surprise me anymore. Ava says, okay, Karina, log off. Dawson says, okay, Hirohei, log off. What? Pomeranian of Doom says, apparently everyone is Karina now. Ava, I didn't say it about the last person, but this account is really sus. Created 26 days ago with the second post being, feels good to post freely what you think. And using the same argumentation. Oh my gosh. I'm not much of a conspiracy believer, but this one looks hilarious AF. It sure does. Oh my gosh, dude, this is such a good content. I hope you guys are enjoying this. This is like really funny for me to read. Pomeranian of Doom. This is a conspiracy mindset. It begins with the small things. And when people become desensitized to the smaller ones, they become more susceptible for the big ones. Ava, are you AI or do you actually not see that I'm having a serious conversation at this point? Jeez. Pomeranian of Doom. That is not the impression that I'm receiving. Ava, people can be serious about one thing and unserious about another in the span of the same discussion. I don't have the energy to continue the union part of our conversation since it's 3:30 a.m. for me, so I might come back to it later if I feel like it. And yes, I was just messing with another person because the account was obviously created for provocation and the replies are provocative too. I don't really see a reason to have a serious tone with people like that. And Dawson says, this account was created so that I can chime in on your and the Genshin community's alt-right BS. If you see it some other way, well, you're part of the problem. Is this account serious? I already asked, like, this can't be real, right? This gotta be a troll or a satire or something, but like, I don't even know. I like, they probably are real though, huh? This is just like average Bluesky poster here. I do feel bad because there are some people on Bluesky that are chill. I actually saw some like actually like talented artists on Bluesky who just went there to post art. And then I see people like this though, and it's like, this is like the sort of stuff you'd see on Twitter in like 2020. Poor Ava. Can you imagine having to deal with Dawson and Pomeranian of Doom together? Holy smokes. 3:30 in the morning. That sounds terrible. And there's this blocked post that we can't see, but Dawson is once again responding to something here, and he says, the problem is the misinformation that is exploitative and pressuring. There was supposedly a copy of the agreement going around that was photoshopped, plus the bad faith videos being put out by Hirohei and other YouTube grifters. Hostility? I've seen the Genshin Reddit. Yeah, these people sure are original. It's always either grifter or alt-right or chud. And bad faith. That's really funny coming from this person. But there's more. There's actually so much more. I'm not going to go through all of it because it's more of the same stuff we just saw. But here's a little variance. There's racist too. I forgot that's another one they really like. Racist. Hirohei's lying to you and racist. What's the context here? Oh, it's Kaylee Mills. Kaylee Mills says, wow. Igor says, we won. No more AI. Terrible VAs are now changed for better actual working VAs. Dawson says, full-time VAs are being switched out for part-time, less quality VAs. Igor says, and now they can too become full-time VAs and become even better than these terrible VAs that only know how to bully people, dox them, and lie. Dang, what a win. Dawson says, you guys should know all about bullying and death threatening. Igor, no idea about death threats, but calling out people for being pieces of garbage and lying about work conditions for a union that just wants profits don't mean bullying in my language. Hirohei is lying to you and a racist. Ain't no way that was his actual response to that. Hey, I don't agree with a union bullying people and lying. Oh, Hirohei's lying to you and a racist. Like, first of all, dude never even said anything about me. And that's your immediate response? What on earth? That is such a desperate, terrible response. That's just so pathetic. I can't even believe that. So yeah, guys, if you're against SAG-AFTRA, you are not only alt-right, but also a racist and whatever else. Hey, don't you dare criticize SAG-AFTRA. We might come up with a bunch of other buzzwords to call you over on Bluesky. Igor says, no idea who that even is. Hope he burns if he's a racist. I don't know. You spout exactly the same talking points as everyone else in the anti-union side. The thing is, the pro-union side has been way too deflective and haven't been properly answering stuff we have been asking, and the proofs we have been receiving are stacking against them. Except they have been answering stuff. The fan base just wants to twist the actual evidence around their own ends. The people... Wait, what is this responding to? A different part? Oh, so he responded twice to the part about me here. The people saying the truth are the ones actively lying about their work conditions and breaking their global rule 1 then? Oh, I see. Sorry, I didn't scroll out enough. There you go. Now you can see that. Okay, we'll take a look at one more example here really quick. This is just like 4 posts. Maybe a second one after. We'll see. And then we're going to wrap it up. But this person, Miku, says, after reading this Genshin EA VA drama, I think I'm going to support rather games. I think they mean other. So starting again with that change, I think I'm going to support other games that use non-US EN voice actors. European VAs also give the characters more personalities by having different accents, especially when the game country-oriented areas. Dawson says, so you're gonna continue to support Hoyoverse then? Where does this guy even find this post? He's just like looking for anyone who's like saying stuff like this on Bluesky so he can come and bootlick for SAG. What a joke. Miku says, I never supported Hoyoverse. The community was way too annoying for me, especially since they hate on every other gacha that exists. And then Dawson says, so what's the problem? Why are you also spreading Hirohei type misinformation? Misinformation? This person is literally just talking about an opinion that they have. This Dawson person is so unhinged. Like, I'm actually concerned. Bro, go outside, get some fresh air. Your behavior is completely irrational. And lastly, we'll take a look at this one. We've got another blocked post, but a response from Dawson and also a Mujin sighting. Dawson says, it's been like a month at this point. This isn't about Jacob anymore. I'm guessing you're getting your news from Hirohei or Mujin or some other phobic drama tuber, right? I'm going to leave it there for today. Bro is clearly the entire circus, but yeah, we get the point. So let me know what you think about this crazy person and also the VA stuff that we went over earlier. Of course, that's the main stuff. Although this ended up taking a lot longer than expected, but it was pretty amusing to go through the second part of this video with this Dawson person, I mean. Hope you enjoyed both parts of this video, though. If you did enjoy my coverage, please consider liking and or subscribing. And there's lots more VA stuff to talk about, so I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you then.